How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we have another episode of Previously in DBSCG, and once again going over the set 21, and we actually know the name of the set now being Wild Resurgence. As the set's all based around Resurgence, as Bandai keeps saying in every single reveal post, but they never gave us a name until finally this week we actually got the name of the set being Wild Resurgence, number set 21. And we also got a load more reveals. You've got finishing off green. We also got a look at what comes after, like what was in like the slots between the after yellow and before the secret rares, which sometimes is black deck, but we'll see. We got some black cards and we got some multicolored cards as well. And also we did get a look today, just fresh today, at the second secret rare from the set and some other stuff as well, and also webcam local results as well, because we did have another webcam locals result this week, and results for that too. And I forgot we've also started doing them on Tuesday now, so the results is just for Friday, but from now on I'll be going over the weeks from both the Tuesday and the Friday for the week. So from next week onwards, we'll have both the days of the webcam locals results in this. So yeah, so before we get into the video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. We're coming up close to 700 subs as well, so when we hit that, we will then be doing another giveaway as we do every 100 subs. And also, it's much appreciated if you do like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel out greatly. And also, if you click the notification bell, you do get alerts when my videos do drop, so you can then aware to go and watch them straight away, or know they're out ready to watch later. And yeah, that's what we say. So let's get into the week's reveals and see what we've got so far. So, as I said, continuing with green. So last week we had the green cell deck. So we saw that. We saw all the details from that. They moved on to the Gohan deck, seeing that Gohan was the other side of it, and saw that really only that I had a Z lead and an Android 16 Z battle card, and also the lead with a fill card that it starts off with. So it's got the fold around the hyperbolic time chamber, getting that out, and cards going underneath it, coming out from it. And the deck just seems to be a Rata City because almost every card needs a Rata. But we get to see what the different Goku or like Z fighter stuff, fighters that come along to help out. So we do have another Z battle card as well for the deck. So it isn't just those two before. They do have a Goku Z battle card. So we got SS Son Goku assisting his son. This is a 1-drop 10k that requires 1 Z energy with Deflect as well. And as an auto and activate main, so the auto is if you have 2 or more energy, choose 1 hyperbolic time chamber from your battle area and switch to the rest mode as the cost. So you need 2 or more energy and switch your fill card to rest. When this card is played, you get to place up to one Son Goku showing results of training, so this Goku next to it, or SS Son Gohan showing the results of training, so either of these two that you have on the screen as well next to it. Even one of those from your hand under the chosen card being a hyperbolic time chamber. And if you place the card, you get to choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards, which costs 3 or less, and kill it. So that is how you get either of these two under the fill card. So that's basically how you do it for these two. And then we have the activate main limit 1 for 1 green. If your leader is a green Son Gohan childhood Z leader, you have 4 more energy and you choose to remove this card and you remove this card from the game as the cost. You get to choose it to one of your leaders and it gets 10k power for the turn, so making your Z lead a beefy 30k base that has double strike as well, as we saw. Z lead's pretty good, and that is what the Z leader does. The Z battle card does. So this seems like something you can play on turn 2 to get either of these two on there, so you can get the alternate awakening, which is nice. And then we've got SS Son Goku showing results training and SS Son Gohan showing results training. So the Goku, so they're both 4 costs, they both have 0 cost 5k combo, and Goku is a 14k while Gohan is a 20k. And they have slight difference in their keyword skills. Goku has barrier while Gohan has deflect. Because as we know from this arc, Gohan does become the strongest out of all fighters, so it makes sense why his power is more. And with Goku, he has 2 autos. First one is when his card is played under a hyperbolic time chamber in your battle area. This card gets 10k power for the turn, so that basically means, well, if that makes sense, essentially, when this card is played out from underneath a hyperbolic time chamber, it gets 10k power for the turn. So when you play it from underneath the fill card, he becomes a 24 base for the turn. And then the other auto is when this card in your hand is placed under a hyperbolic time chamber in your battle area, place up to 1 SS Son Gohan showing the results of training from in your deck under the hyperbolic time chamber in your battle area, and shuffle your deck. So I think Gohan also has the same ability, in its last auto. So essentially with either one, if you put either one under the fill card, you get to put the other one from deck under the fill card. So that's how you get them, because if you remember from that arc, when they go into Hyperbolic Chamber, they go in pairs. So Vegeta goes with Trunks, Goku goes with Gohan, and they train together. That's why you can only have two at any given time underneath the fill card, because it's the same with Hyperbolic Time Chamber. And that's why like most of the cards in the game are quite thematic in that way, which is really cool. Then we have an activate main on Goku, which is for 1 green. Place this card in your drop. Doesn't say from where, so we're going to have to assume that it's from the battle area, because if it doesn't specify, it's always from the battle area. So 1 green, place a card from your battle area to your drop. Draw 1 card and play up to 1 SS Sun Gohan, showing the results of training under a Hyperbolic Chamber in your battle area. So yes, if you play this out, it doesn't play the other one out, so you can then pay 1 green. So if this card is played out, you get that, may hit 24k, get a swing with it, and then you get to use this effect to place it from your battle area to your drop to play out the Gohan that you also have underneath the fill card from underneath it. So that makes sense. And then Gohan is deflect 20k, free auto. So as we said, the last auto is the same as Goku's, where if it's put under the fill card, you get to put the Goku from your deck underneath it. But its first one is when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards here. It's just straight up removal when it's dropped. That's pretty cool. And then the second one is auto once per turn. If this card is in a battle, when you use a SS Sun Goku Shonen Results Training in a combo, choose up to one of your opponent's unisons and remove 2 markers from it. So in theme with Green's interaction with unisons being knock markers off it, which is pretty nice. So that's pretty cool. Not too bad so far. Then we've got the ever duo that go under the fill card, being S's Vegeta Arrogance and S's Trunks Mysterious Future Warrior. And also we do have another Goku card as well, being S's Son Goku Believing in His Son. So we get a good free Goku card to support the Gohan leader. So Vegeta also has Deflect, and these ones are both 3k. So these both are free costs because they come out before the other two. So these come out first usually, which you'll see in the theme from their effects as well. And then the Goku and Gohan going after. That's why they're a little bit weaker, because they come out first. So we got Vegeta having Deflect. Trunks doesn't have any keyword skills, but Vegeta does have an auto. When this card is played under a Hyperbolic Time Chamber in your battle area, this card gets 5k power, and you may use this card in a combo in rest mode for the turn. So that's quite nice, similar to the SS. We've seen how good that is from SS4. Gogeta, being in a combo your battle cards off that were in rest is really nice. Kind of really first saw that for Dark Broly as well. Not essentially comboing, but using those power. And then we got the second auto, which is when this card attacks, use it to 1 SS Trunks Mysterious Future Warrior under a Hyperbolic Time Chamber in your battle area. Okay, this that makes sense. When this card attacks, use up to 1 SS Trunks Mysterious Future Warrior under a Hyperbolic Time Chamber in your battle area. Okay, so if it's under the fill card, because the fill card is in the battle area in a combo, and if you do draw 1 card and this card gains critical for the battle. So that's quite cool. So it comes out as a 15k and it can be comboed off in 1 rest mode. And then when it attacks, you can then combo using the Trunks under your fill card to basically draw a card and gain critical for the battle. That is quite nice, because Vegeta tends to have critical for most of the time with his keyword skills, where Goku normally has double strike. And you got the active main for 1 green. Choose 1 Hyperbolic Time Chamber in your battle area and switch to rest mode. Place this card from your hand and up to 1 SS Trunks Mysterious Future Warrior from your deck under a chosen card, then shuffle your deck. So that's how you get under. So with these two, they have a way to put themselves under the fill card, whereas the Gohan and Goku need to put themselves under using the Z battle card, which is quite cool. So it seems to be turn 1 you use the Vegeta to get the Goku to put the the Vegeta to put himself and the Trunks underneath, and then use the fill card to play out the Vegeta, and then use their effects, then the like swing combo, get the Z energy so you can bring the Goku and then put the other 2 underneath it. Seems interesting that way. But yeah, it's activate main for 1 green, choose 1 Hyperbolic Time Chamber in your battle area and switch to rest mode. Place this card from your hand and up to 1 SS Trunks Mysterious Future Warrior from your deck, from your deck under the chosen card in the deck. And I think that's the same thing that's on the second effect for Trunks, which is pay activate main for 1 green, choose the field cards, which are rest mode, place the Vegeta itself and the Vegeta from your deck underneath it. So both of them have a way to put themselves underneath it, put the other one from the deck underneath it. And the other effect of Trunks is activate main for 1 green. If your leader is a green Son Gohan Childhood Z leader, you remove this card in your drop from the game and you discard 1 card from your hand as the cost. Play up to 1 SS Vegeta Arrogance from your drop, and that card gets 10k power for the turn. So that seems interesting. Be able to play the Vegeta back from your drop. So it comes down to 20k, which is quite cool. And you get another swing of it, another 20k swing for just 1 energy. It's not too bad. It's not amazing, but you're mainly going to be using the second activate mains of either of them to put this off under to get them under the fill card after turn 1. So you can play them out and do a little turn progression, which seems quite simple by just reading the cards. Then we got SS Son Goku, Believe in His Son. So this is a 4 cost 19k and also 4 specified green. So if you're trying to hardcast this outside of it, then you're going to have to be heavily invested in green. And there's a way to cheat out, but you need to be with this deck. So it's also got Double Strike, permanent, where if this card is in rest mode, your opponent's battle cards can't attack your leaders. So probably would have been nice to have barrier instead of Double Strike, so that way he's got that protection to make it harder for you, like with the Deadly Defenders and stuff. But also have also limit 1 for 1 green if your leader is green. Well, a green Son Goku Childhood card. You have 3 or more energy and you have a green Son Gohan Childhood card in a battle. When your green Saiyan is used in the combo, draw 1 card and play this card from your hand. So when you use any green Saiyan in a combo, draw and play this out. So nice little cantrip that then kind of gives you a little bit of protection to your lead. So not too bad, but it is a 1 cost 10k. This is in line with the leader in the what I saw before, where you can combo Goku with a combo costs a 10k or less from your drop. So the Gokus are trying to go around with that as well, which is quite interesting. And then we have some of the other support cards, so in some of the other Z fighters plus Hercule. So Hercule being the super combo with the funniest name being Hercule Cheetah, where it's just green super combo. If your leader's green, you have to 4 less when using the combo draw 1. Then Piccolo getting a second 30k free drop skillless, and this time in green instead of yellow. And then we got a really good, like normally every deck when it gets most decks when they're revealed they get 2 kind of 1-drops, one being a cantrip, one being a searcher, and this Krillin seems to be both in 1 card because it's kind of like a searcher. Well, it is a searcher technically, but it's got the draw effect in it as well, so it's like kind of both rolled in 1, where normally you get two cards, 1 to draw, 1 to search. Because it's a Krillin 1-drop with 2 autos, first one being when this card is played, look up to 5 cards on top of your deck, add to 1 green Saiyan with energy cost of 4 or less to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So nice little switch for any green Saiyan, 4 or less. And then an auto, limit 1 if there is a hyperbolic time chamber in your battle area and a skillless battle card in your combo area. When this card in your battle area is used in a combo, draw 1 card and add this card to its owner's Z energy. So remember as well with the leader, I think it has the ability to combo, use a 5k combo from the drop on the Awaken and then a 10k Goku on the Z-Awaken in a combo for free, but with skills you get for turn, so that will fulfill the skillless battle card needed. So you don't have to actually play skillless cards. You just have to have a card that's had the skills negated in your combo. So for this trigger, and then you essentially draw a card, the cantrip part, and then get that easy Z energy, which is quite cool. So you get it straight away instead of waiting until after the battle, which is quite nice. So there's the little support cards. Then we have the S-Sires. So this deck gets 3 S-Sires in the form of SS Son Goku Decision Made, a 4-drop counterplay, a big boss card in SS Son Goku and SS2 Son Gohan Father Son Solidarity, and a negate an extra card being Unceasing Awakened Rage being a 1-drop. So with the Goku, we see it's a 4 cost 15k plus with a 1 cost 10k combo. So once again, going in theme with the being able to combo full value from the Z lead. There's a counterplay which is limit 1 play this card, so it gets random deflect by the effect being in the auto, not the counterplay skill. Then it does have two permanents. So the first one is for every Z energy cost of the Z cards in your leader area and battle area, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1. So once you go into your Z lead, it's instantly down to a 1 cost, because remember, you still got to pay the specified cost. And the other permanent is if it's your opponent's turn and your leader is a green Son Gohan childhood Z leader, reduce the combo cost of this card in your hand by 1. So it becomes a free 10k instead of a 1 cost 10k in your opponent's turn. So very handy for being defensive. And it's also is what triggers when you play it is add this card to your Z energy as the cost. So add this card to your Z energy. When this card is played, choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards when energy cost is 7 or less. Add it to your owner's Z energy. Then choose it to one of your opponent's unisons and remove 2 markers from it. So that's pretty cool. So you play it, then as the cost, put it to your Z energy, and then add one of their 7 cost or less battle cards to their Z energy, just like shove off board into Z energy, and then take 2 markers off a unison if they have one. That's pretty cool. That's quite nice. Pretty good for the deck. Is not so generic, well, not so great generically, but in this deck it's pretty good. And then the boss card, which I've seen people say it's power crap, the Fated Rivals, but it kind of is good, but then Fated Rivals is a little bit better in the fact that, well, it does mostly the same as Fated Rivals, but Fated Rivals doesn't have to attack to be able to get the barrier removal, and this has a better effect in this specific deck, really. So it's an 8-drop 35k with Deflect and Double Strike, so already a little bit better in Fated Rival being 5k stronger and having, well, being higher costed in the actual printed cost, 5k power more, and having Deflect to have that protection. So out of the way of all the free most of the counter plays. Then its first also is when this card attacks, use it to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, KO it, then your opponent places 1 card in the hand to the drop. So has the barrier removal and also discard, so 1 up there on the Fated Rival, but it does have to attack to be able to do that, which Fated Rival just does it straight on play. And then you got the auto once per turn. If it's your turn, your opponent has 3 or more life, and this card is in a battle as the requirement. When you use one of your green Son Goku cards in a combo, with a combo cost of 1 in a combo, your opponent places 1 card from their life in their drop. So you can get this to trigger because if you're on the Z lead, you've got that auto that triggers, I think, when anytime a Son Gohan card attacks, when it's negated for the turn, it gets to combo a Goku card with an energy cost or 10k power or less from your drop in a combo. So that's the way you get to trigger that. So that's cool. Just make your opponent. So if your opponent's a 3 or more, be able to swing with this, combo that Goku, and make it a 45k minimum then with the combo, and then make your opponent crit life essentially. So you go for the lethal there. That's pretty good. That is quite nice for this deck. And you got the active main is how you drop it by limit 1 for 2 green if your leader is green, and your opponent has 2 or 3 or more energy. Play this card from your hand, and this card gains barrier for the turn. So what didn't have barrier, like it does, like while Fated Rivals always has barrier, this card does gain barrier for the turn you're going to drop it, and it does come down in a similar manner as Fated Rival, but you don't need to have a Saiyan in your Z Energy to bottom deck for it, so it's kind of easier there if you can get that card into your combo. Don't want to try and just waste the card from your hand to get in there, but then it's still a very good card for this deck. Power keeps Fated Rival, but I think any evergreen deck's going to probably mainly want to use Fated Rival because that chance with the Piccolo, and because recycling super combos is just really handy. Then it brings us to Unceasing Awaken Rage. This is a 1 cost counterplay, extra card as well. So the counter attack is limit 1 if your leader is a mono green Saiyan, so it only works with mono green Saiyans as the cost. Negate the attack, so it actually negates the attack, unlike Dormant and stuff. Then additionally, if your life is at 4 or less, you may discard 1 card from your hand, and if you do, your opponent can't attack for the turn unless they add 1 card from the hand to the Z energy. So at the very least, it negates the attack, and then if you want to, you can discard a card to get the Ever effect, which is like quite a nice way to get like a hand control that doesn't get countered by anti-hand control cards. So that's quite cool. And you got permanent where you can play it for free, where if you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost by discarding a green card from your hand. So you can essentially still use it as a free negate. And while you would normally lose a card from hand, the also on this, if it's with this leader, is if your leader is a green Son Gohan channel card, when you activate this card's counter skill from your hand, draw a card. So at very least, if you pay energy for it, you can just go negate and then replace it in hand, draw a card. or you can then neg 1 in hand to be able to use the Floodgate by paying the energy, or you can just play it for free as a free negate by discarding a card and then redrawing that card as if you just use it as just a negate, not a Floodgate. So for free you get to negate attack and not lose anything apart from this card. And then if you want to get the Floodgate while also for free, you do go neg 2 in hand because you're using the card itself, discarding a card to play it for free, then discard a card for the Floodgate, and you draw 1 back. So you go neg 2 in this for that, but you need to get stop that attack and put that condition on the rest of it. So it's pretty good. It is, like, at the very least, using it as just a negate or a free negate is good, costing you next to nothing, which is nice. And then we go on to the black cards. So we do get some black. We didn't get a black deck in this set, but we did get some black cards, and all the black cards are legacy support, and they support 3 decks. So a good 9 black cards we're going to see. So the first slot of black cards is support for the SSG Trunks, all the way from set 16, I think it is. So yeah, we get the support in the form of a Z Leader, an 8-drop, and a Supreme Kai 1-drop as well. So for the Z Lead, this is the first in set legacy Z Lead, which is quite cool. Normally it's been from expansion. So this is a 20k base Z Lead for SSG Trunks Guiding Light. Requires 2 Z energy and also to Spirit Boost 1 while your life is at 3 or less. On top of a black Trunks Zeno, which is only that lead so far. So good thing about this deck is that it is able to get us the unison established quite easily and quite well. So needing this, like, it doesn't cost any energy, which is this is like I think the 5th or 6th Z lead that doesn't require Z energy, like any energy paying to Z-Awaken, but itself requires 2 Z energy and Spirit Boost, but doesn't require energy normal energy like most of the Z leads do. So that's quite cool. And being a 20k base is very good. And then it's got an auto, which is similar to the original one on the Awaken side, which is when this card attacks, you draw 2 cards and then you warp 1 card from your hand, which is very handy. It's keeping that good also. And then you got a new activate main, which is once per turn, Spirit Boost 1. If you place 2 black battle cards from your warp into your drop, you get to choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and set it to his warp. And additionally, if you have a Supreme Kai of Time opposing the Empire, which I think is the Unison, in play, this card gets 5k and double strike for the turn. So making your lead a 25k double strike base is very, very nice. And also being able to warp one of your opponent's battle cards is very, very nice as well. So removal, 25k base double strike for a nice little finisher, and all you're doing is taking a marker off a Unison, which is very cool. So a very, very good Z lead for that old deck. And we got SSG Trunk, Sealing Power. So this is 8 cost 30k with unique triple strike and barrier. It also has a Zeno Evolve skill, which is Spirit Boost 1 for 1 black. If your leader is a black Trunk Zeno, you use it on top of it. You use a Trunk Zeno with energy cost of 5 for it. And I do remember there was issue with this when it's first because it wasn't clear on, well, most people didn't find out how it was clear, like myself included. Because there's only 1 Trunk Zeno with energy cost of 5, and that card, if it's removed from the battle area, it's removed from the game instead. And there was other people like myself thinking that it's the cost to warp the card, and if it can't be warped, it can't trigger. But the cost is not the warp it, that's the resolution. So you just need to have that Trunks there, then when it resolve, it go to warp it, get removed from the game instead, and then you play the card. So it still get around it, even though, yeah, it doesn't feel like it feels like a weird one because we haven't seen Zeno evolve for a good while as well, or be used like regularly. And it also has 2 permanents. So the first one is similar to like the yellow Gohan stuff of the Piccolo SH deck, where it can be used from a different area for its evolving. So this one is, if this card is in your warp, you can also activate this card's Zeno evolve skill from your warp. So you can, if you warp it, you can still use it to evolve from your warp. So making use of a different area, like a lot of decks do, to have like act as an extra hand or a safe place to then play it. And it's also got a permanent similar to the 5-drop that it goes over the top of, well, replaces, which is if this card will leave the battle area, move from the game instead. But that's gonna be quite difficult when it's a barrier barrier 30k. It's be hard to get rid of this. And it has a nice auto when this card attacks, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, and your barrier sets to its warp. So a nice bit of barrier removal for that deck, and every deck needs barrier removal, and I think this deck didn't really have it. Well, not many black decks do, outside of using their secret rare stuff for black smoke, so it's a really nice card to have for it. Then you've got Supreme Kai of Time, releasing time power. This is a 1 cost 1k. Would activate main 1 black if your leader is a black Trunk Zeno. Only card, you place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck, and you remove this card in your warp from the game. So it's cool, remove from the warp from the game, that's quite interesting. And that's all it costs. You get to add up to 2 of your life to your hand, and if you have no unisons in play, play 1 Supreme Kai opposing the Empire from your hand or warp with 2 markers on it, and you can't play this for the turn. So that's cool. There you go. You got a way to take your life if you need be. Well, yeah, take your life if you need to get your life down to a certain amount, like for token negates, because you can awaken up quite high life in this deck, or have it for super combos, and also get the play out a unison with 2 markers on it, so you can do your things like your spirit boosting stuff, and have it establish them, which is quite cool. And unlike the Bora deck, the Bora swap deck, it doesn't get removed at the end of it, so you keep the unison, which is quite cool. So it's quite interesting. And yeah, that's the Trunks support. It's pretty good Trunks support for the SSG Trunks deck. It's quite nice to see some good legacy support come in this main set. And then we got the next lot, and this one's for Token Toa. So no Unison or Z card for Token Toa, it's just some more battle cards. We get a Mirror and 2 Toa cards. So we got the Mirror, which is a very nice one. Be Mirror, Create Absorption. It's an 8-drop 30k with double strike. It has EX Evolve for free, which is limit 1. Where if you have 4 more energy, you EX Evolve it on top of a black Toa, energy goes to 5, which I think is the big boss, like the boss SR of the Token Toa deck. And it's got a nice little auto which once per turn it requires 1 black energy, so even though it's free to evolve onto a 5-drop Toa, it then is a cost for the auto to trigger. So the cost is once per turn. If by paying 1 black, if your leader is a black Mirror or Toa, and you move 3 or more skillless battle cards from the game, which is normally going to be your like a load of tokens, and that's all the cost. When this card attacks, draw 1 card, choose it to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignore barrier, and set 2 its warp, then switch this card to active mode. So that's quite cool. You get to draw a card, it gives you barrier removal, and it's essentially a dual attacker because it switches to active mode. So you get to swing at 30k double strike, draw 1, warp something through barrier, then restand, and then swing again. That's very, very nice. And I think that 5-drop might be dual attack or something, or can attack maybe twice. But yeah, that's pretty good. And then we have combo attack, Toa combo attack. So 2 cost 10k with deflect. And if your opponent has 2 or more energy, and you send 1 card from your life to your warp, when this card is played from your hand, play up to 1 black unison with a specified cost of 3 and a marker on it. Shuffle your deck, and then send up to 2 cards from the top of your deck to your warp. So that's quite cool. So that gives you a way, because with the Token Toa, the way to alternatively awaken is to play down a free specified black unison. And that normally leaves you getting a turn free. So if you go on second, you're waiting until your turn free if your opponent's had 3 full turns to drop a unison awaken how you want. And I think before that you don't really draw, you just play a token when you swing. So having this as a way to awaken on turn 2 by getting the unison straight from your deck, because even though it doesn't say where it comes from, because I just remember that this doesn't say where you play the unison from, it just says shuffle your deck, so it's indicating that it is from your deck, where due to the fact you have to shuffle your deck after using this. That's quite a good card to help you awaken a little bit earlier. And even though you get 1 marker on it, it still has marker skills that plus markers, and when you can defend it enough or just play a new one after, it's more of a good way to help you awaken and stuff. Then we've got the activate battle on it as well, which is once per turn. You remove 1 of your skills battle cards from the game, which is usually a token. Use up to 1 mono black card with 5k combo power from your warp in a combo with its skills to get for the turn. So that's pretty cool as well. And even this deck even did get support in the anniversary box. It's like a searcher card, which is very nice too. Then we have Toa rebuilding the Demon Realm. So this is a 1 cost with 4k power. Permanent if this card will be leave your battle area. It's removed from the game instead. And also when this card is played, your Demon Realm Soldier tokens can't be removed from your battle area by your opponent's skills for the turn. So this only really affects, it's only really relevant against green decks, because green does have sometimes counter plays and stuff like that, like Dormant, to help wipe up wipe up to a certain amount, and it's how it's worded, it can wipe up all your tokens, then also up to 2 cost of battle cards. So having this to make it so your opponent can't get rid of them against green is quite good. If it was until the end of your opponent's turn, that'd be handy for help against the secret identity as well. This got an activate main, limit 1 if your leader is a black Demon Realm race. You have a black unison with a specified cost 3 in play, and you place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck. Play this card from your warp. So you get to play this card out from your warp. This doesn't seem as great. The other two seem pretty cool for the deck to help awaken early, and you have a bigger and better boss card. But this one doesn't seem to be amazing, but then I'm no expert on the deck, so I wouldn't know. But it does seem like good support from Token Toa. Then we get to the last one, being support from Mechikabura, the old kind of, well, technically Wish. So don't see the finger quotes, but yeah, technically the Wish Mechikabura. Well, it does Wish technically, but yeah, so it is technically a Wish deck. And yeah, so we get some support from this in a 1-drop Dark King Mechikabura, ruler of the Demon Realm, and then we get a 5-drop and a 4-drop of Shroom, Violent Imagine Assault, and Salsa Violent Imagine Assault. Not entirely sure why they're Imagine Assaults. They don't look like Imagines, but I'm not really versed in Super to really understand or really care why, really. But yeah, so with the Dark King Mechikabura, ruler of the Demon Realm, it's a 1-cost 4k. Nice little also when if your leader is a Mechikabura only card, when this card is played, look at your deck. So not search your deck, look at your deck. So many stupid erratas that's gonna be needed on this. The translation of this set is just horrendous. And then you get to add up to 1 Dark Dragon Ball from to your hand and place 1 in your drop, then shuffle your deck. So you get to go for your deck, add a Dark Dragon Ball to your hand, and put another 1 into your deck. Yeah, so you get to filter through 2, at least getting 1 to hand. Apparently it would be too busted to add 2 of them to your hand for a 1-drop. And then you got the activate main limit 1, so this is a way to play out the big boss card for a little bit cheaper. Or, well, not cheaper, the same kind of cost, but a little bit earlier. If you get this out a turn before, you can pay the cost. So the activate main limit 1 for 3 black. If your leader is a Mechikabura only card, your opponent has 3 or more energy, and you send this card from your drop to your warp. Oh, and it's from the warp, so never mind. It is cheaper because it's sending from your. You don't have to have this on board. It's from your. You want to send this card from your drop to your warp, so you just have to send your drop ready. Send up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards from the drop to the warp. Play up to 1 black Mechikabura card with energy cost of 8 and a power of 3000 from your hand or drop. So you get to use it, play it from your drop as well. That's pretty cool. So if you mill them or lose into your drop, you can still bring it out. That's quite nice. And then that card gains barrier for the turn. That's pretty nice because I think the card has dual attack with some good skills. So being able to bring it out with barrier as well, like barrier for protection, is quite nice. And be able to play it for being able to play your 8-drop boss monster for cheap, only 3 energy, and also play it from the drop using this from the drop as well. So all involved in the drop, so you're not using anything from your hand. And then be also warp a card from the drop as well is quite handy. So that's quite a nice. That's a really nice card for Mechikabura. Very nice support. And then we got Shroom and Salsa cards. So Salsa has critical and a permanent. If this card will leave your battle area, it's removed from the game itself. And Shroom is a 5 cost of 20k, and Salsa is a 4 cost of 15k. They both have an activate main. That's limit 1 and cost 1 black, and are ways to play it. So Shroom's one is if your leader is a Mechikabura only card, and your opponent has 2 or more energy, play this card from your hand. While Salsa is if your leader is a Mechikabura card and you have 2 or more energy, play this card from your hand or drop. So Salsa plays from hand or drop and plays as soon as you hit your second energy, while Shroom only plays once your opponent has at least got to their second energy. So that's quite interesting. And then we've got Shroom's also is limit 1, where when it attacks, you choose it to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, when it goes to 7 or less. Send it to their warp, and additionally, if your opponent has 2 or more cards in their warp, you get to draw a card. So that's quite cool. Removal plus also potentially drawing a card as well. That's quite nice. And then Salsa's one is when this card is played, your opponent sends 1 card from their hand to the warp, then they draw 1 card. So similar to some of the other cards in the deck, which is kind of hand control, where you send your cards from your opponent's hand to the warp, but then you're letting them replace it in your hand. So you're not really taking the hand down, just setting up more cards in their warp for your effects. So this is quite nice support. The 1-drop mech is really nice, and the Shroom's pretty cool. Salsa's alright, but Like, yeah, the first two are like probably the better ones in my opinion. But once again, I didn't play this deck, so this is just got my opinion of just looking at the deck and seeing like what it seems to be. But that is all the black cards, and we have some multicolored cards as well. So we got some good multicolored cards. So we've got some support in the form of a red-blue Whis, a red-yellow Beerus, and then a blue-green Android 16. We also have two other ones, which will go in a bit. We have 5 multicolored cards. So the Whis, I don't know which deck it's meant to be for, but it's quite interesting. It's a 6 cost 15k with 1 cost 10. Well, they all have 1 cost 10k combo, and it's all energy source as well. But this one has an arrival for red blue, either playing 1 red or 1 blue, and a permanent where if you have a red blue multicolor card, other than this card in your energy, negate this card's energy exhaust skill in all areas. I think all of them have, all the multicolors in this set have ways to negate energy exhaust. So for a Whis, you need to have a never red blue multicolored card in your energy to negate the energy exhaust, similar to the check lands we've got with each color combination when they were originally released. I think this one had a Mecha Freezer. So that's quite cool, isn't it? Like really, for when they're doing support like this for multicolored cards, they should have these effects to keep them up to scratch with the monocolor decks. And then it's got an also when this card is played, choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards with 50k power or less and return it in their hand. That's not too bad. Like, I thought blue was moving away, like yeah, the like blue effects like that were moving away from putting it to hand and putting bottom deck in itself, but no, Bandai seem to be flicking back and forth. Like, to hand is always going to be worse than bottom deck. Like, because you prefer bottom deck something than back something back to your hand so you can use it again. Then it's going to activate battle, which is limit 1. If your leader is a mono red card and you discard 1 card from your hand during your opponent's turn, when your opponent's battle card or unison attacks during that turn, choose it to one of your cards, and that card gets 10k power for the battle. So that's quite interesting. I think I've seen someone ask about like if this is for like every attack for that turn, but I guess we'll have to wait for the Q&A because the translation on this set, like the indication, like it's not clear what the cards are exactly meant to do because just the text on all these cards is just very poorly translated. This is probably worse than the set 19 day 1 erratas as well. So we'll have to see when we get the list update how many of these are going to be erratas. Going to be a fucking ton. Then we have Beerus, my favourite one for this, Beerus Judge of Ruin. It's a 6 cost, 25k with Deflect and Double Strike. Also has Arrival for red-yellow, requiring 1 red and 1 yellow. It also has a permanent where if your leader is a red god, negate this card's energy source in areas, so that's very nice for Great Priest and for the red Beerus as well. Red Beerus being the best Beerus, of course. And then it's got a nice auto. When this card is played, you draw 1 card, then choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards, switch to rest mode, and then choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards or unisons, and it gets minus 20k power for the turn. So that's cool, being able to replace itself in hand, rest a battle card, and then minus a battle card at unison by 20k is very, very handy. Like, it seems quite costly in 2 energy, being 1 red and 1 yellow, but still, being a check land you can have ready to charge turn 1 is just amazing. And a 25k double strike that you bring in that has Deflect to protect it as well is very good. So yeah, this is a very, very nice card for Red Beerus. Be looking forward to getting some of these when it releases to add to my Red Beerus deck. And then we got this Android 16 companion for Desperation. This one's an interesting one because it doesn't seem useful. It seems more useful for the upcoming green promo Android 16 lead, not any of the other ones. But it's a 4 cost 15k, and its permanent is if your leader is Android 16 or blue Android, negate this card's energy source in all areas. So you kind of have a check land for the green Android 16 deck for when you awaken, because you lose the ability to negate energy source once you awaken, because it's like, I think it's the only one that loses that out of the ones that get it. So Bandai once again hating on green. Then it's got 2 activate mains. First one is limit 1, and it requires 1 green energy, and if your leader is a blue or green Saiyan or Android, and your opponent has to have 2 or more energy, get player's card from your hand. Is it worth it? That doesn't seem that great, to be honest. No keyword skills with 15k, 4 cost. Not impressive, but then the other activate main is KO this card as the cost. Choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards and equals to 5 or less and KO it. So you get the pop psych, but it's not just any card, it's only a card that's energy cost 5 or less. So not the best range, but there. And you got KO itself. It's not a very impressive card. It doesn't seem to be good or useful for anything. It just seems like filler. And the only thing I can see is being useful for is a check land for when you play, if you play the green Android 16 is coming out for the pre-release. Once you awaken, you still have their check land to not be screwed over by Bandai in green. That's about it. Then the other two we got of the unwhite colors are green and yellow cell cards, and these look to be more for like support, so you can actually play yellow in the green cell decks rather than the charge is pure yellow. So we've got Cell Ultimate Life from Despair being a 9-cost 30k, and Cell Long Protection or Perfection being a 4-cost 20k. So the 9 drops a 1-cost 10k combo, where the Cell is the 4 drop is a 1-cost 5k combo, and they both have a permanent to prevent the I think they both have the same first permanent, which is if your leader is a green cell and you have a green android in your energy other than this card, negate this card's energy source in all areas. So another way to have check lands in cell without, like from turn 2 onwards, you can then charge this and then have that yellow for if you need it for like successor and stuff. And speaking of successor, the 9-drop has double strike and dual attack, and also successor skill being 1 green, 1 yellow, and 1 of any color. So a 3-cost successor that you got if you get the 9. So it goes pretty well with that barrier 3-drop cell in the set. So that's quite cool, and so it's a card to go with it. And it's got an auto when this card is played using successor. When this card is played using a successor skill, that was activated by choosing one or more of each Android 17, Android 18, and Cell for the skill costs. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, KO it, and then add up to one Cell's full power Kamehameha in your deck off your deck. So it's quite. So if you play out Cell and play out the Android 17 and 18 your opponent's board, those skills to get and can use them as the successor fodder. If you do that for this and use all 3 of them, you then get to pop something on your opponent's board, or battle card on your opponent's board, and then grab the extra card, the Cell's Kamehameha from the set from your deck. That's not that impressive because one, you're KOing something, but you're not KOing it for a barrier. Like for this kind of cost and this kind of all this like kind of setup and cost for it, you expect a good payoff, like popping something for a barrier. Like this does less for this is more expensive to do less than things like the 8-drop for the Gohan deck or Fated Rivals that cost less to do a better card removal and better things. Like sure, it is a 30k dual attack and double striker, but that's a lot of setup for an okay card. And then we got Cell Long for Perfection. Its only ever skills is Blocker, Innate Evolve for 1 green to evolve on top of green cell energy cost 3. And also the second permanent, where if your leader is a green android and you have a cell in play, you can reduce the combo cost of this card in your hand by 1. So that's alright. It doesn't seem amazing. It should just be if your leader is a green android or green cell, reduce the combo cost of this card in your hand by 1. Not needing a cell in play as well, because that means if the opponent, if your opponent gets rid of the cell in your battle area, you then have this deck card in your hand because you can't combo it because it's going to be a 1-cost 5k and that's not really worth it. So not the greatest cards. So that is it for most of the reveals. Then we have one other reveal from the set as well, and that is the secret rare today that we got revealed today. And that is secret number 2, Dark King Mechakabura Last Judgment. So while the Mechakabura deck didn't get a Z lead or anything like that, like having its Dark King form on the Z lead, it did get a secret rare as this art, which is quite interesting. So it's an 8-cost 40k with dual attack as well as ultimate. Every secret rare has got ultimate, but it's so it's 40k dual attack and 8 cost. It's got a counterplay skill, and the counterplay skill is play this card, and for every battle card in your opponent's Z deck, place up to 1 battle card from your drop or warp under this card, and this card can't be removed from your battle area by your opponent's skills for the turn. And additionally, if the battle card to be played has an energy cost of 7 or less, it's sent to the warp instead. So it's essentially like a secret rare version of Charismatic, but instead of popping it, but then it doesn't get around deflect. It just is alright. It's pretty good. It's pretty decent for that. And it's even better because it's got a permanent where if the total number of cards in you and your opponent's warps is 7 or more, you reduce the cost of this card in your hand by 7, so it comes as a 1 cost counter play, which is quite cool. So one cost counter play to warp what they're playing if it's 7 or less, and then put a load of cards underneath it and make this so it can't be removed from by your opponent's skills for the turn. Means it's got a nice little protection. It does, though it is lacking because if your opponent minus it down to 0, which Red can do quite well, then it still can go by game mechanic. But still, and it also has another effect, and that is the auto, which is place one card from under this card in your drop. When this card or your opponent's card, when this card or your opponent attacks, choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards and set it to his owner's warp. So you get like a nice little floodgate as well, because remember, when you counterplay this, you get to potentially stop what's coming into play, and place a load of cards potentially up to 7 from your drop or warp under this card that fuel this auto. And it just has a nice little thing where if your opponent anytime your opponent attacks, or when this card attacks, you can choose one card from underneath, or ditch a card from underneath it for the cost, and warp in your opponent's battle cards. The only pity is it doesn't go for barrier. Like as a secret rare, you would expect things like effects like this to go through barrier. Like because it's a secret rare, it's only one use. Like you only get one of them in your deck. Once it's played and once it's gone, that's it. It's gone. So you would expect it to go for barrier, but it doesn't. But still, warping your opponent's battle cards every time they attack for the turn is pretty cool. And even he's got dual attacks, it can swing twice and remove things, but once again, not going for barrier, kind of like makes it seem not as great for me. Like the counterplay is quite cool. Like this doesn't replace or is not in any way better than things like Evil Saying, Golden Caller, or the Pan Secret Rare. Like this will never replace any of those, or I can't even think of any reason I would play those over these in this over those in any deck. But it's what it is. People might play it for the effect, or because they have it and don't have the other one. So yeah, it's not too bad, but yeah, it's not amazing or not really an option I would consider over the ones we currently had at the moment. Unlike Shenron, love that Shenron. And that is the proper reveals that we got from Facebook, from the Bandai Facebook page. So now we go into some interesting information. So we got a look because Bandai updated the the stuff for locals and yeah, local events coming into next set, and that is the TPs. We haven't been officially revealed the TPs yet on the Facebook page. I've actually seen the cards, but we do have an inkling and know what they look like and what cards to get. So we get 3 red ones in a Sun Gohan, which looks to be for the Power Pole Goku deck. Then we have a Kami, which could be for either the Power Pole Goku deck or for the Garlic deck. Interesting to see which one it's for. And then we also have a Kaba one, which seems to be legacy support for something, which I'm not sure what deck it'd be legacy support for. Could be for the Vegeta one. That would be quite cool. The start of Vegeta that we got at the beginning, around about Zenkai series. I think for one of the ones before we got the Zenkai series stuff. So that's the 3 red ones. Then we got some blue ones. We got 4 blue ones. We've got a Janemba, which is a 5 cost, so it's definitely not Janemba Mill. So it potentially be support for crit Nemba, the crit Nemba from set 5, or it could be for skill loss. I'm going to lean more towards crit Nemba because it does look like he's got a keyword skill that could be critical on it, and a 5 cost as well. So hopefully it's crit Nemba support. That'd be nice. Then we've got a Pilaf, Shu, and Mai 1 drop, which needs to be a counter play. So I don't know which ones that's supporting, because I can't remember for this one, because they're little, so it could be for the GT one, because they were wished to be little. I know they weren't. Yeah, it was in Super, so I don't know what this deck that supports, but yeah, that's a card. Then we've got what looks to be support for Baby and U, being a Sun Gohan GT1 for Baby. Imagine with the looks like they have the servant skill. Then we've got an one for the one. So 2 cards seem so far the 2 cards to support the ones in the set, and in some other ones. I don't know what that My Shu and Pilaf one is for, but yeah, hopefully that Janemba's crit number. Then we have 4 green ones as well. So we have a Raditz, which is likely to be, which could be either for, it could be either for the could be for the the green Vegeta, or like from the set 7 one, the green Raditz from that, or something else. I think it's like support for the original Raditz deck, maybe, or over on a Saiyan Saga. Then we've got a Bulma there, which, given her outfit, that's from when that's from the Cell Saga, so that's probably for the Gohan deck. Then we have a 3-drop Cell, which is obviously for the Cell deck, and then we got a Frieza there, which I think I zoomed in early on this. It looks to be like a U7 one because it's got the Halo as well. So it could be Toronto Power, so it could be like a Universe 7 support, but I don't know which for which deck. So that would be interesting to know which ones that's for. And then onto yellow, we have free yellow. Oh, yeah, free yellow. And we got a Bardock, which I don't know what the Bardock's for, because for this set, it's because this one could either be support for one of the Bardock decks, could be a Bardock's crew support, like the yellow Bardock's crew support, could be lineage support, or it could be, I don't know. I'm not really sure for that. And then the Gohan looks to be more for the Whis deck from, I don't know what set it was for, set 12 or something like that. The Whis deck with the skillless stuff, that could be support for that. And then obviously this Frieza looks to be a third free drop that I did think would probably could come in the TP, a third free drop for the Frieza swap deck. So I'm happy about that. It'd be interesting to see what this does. And then we've got two black ones. First one being Vegito being a generic overrun. We'll see what the effect is. We do have to look at the winners as well. And then a Massing, which I think looks to be for the Black Mass Saiyan deck from set 5. I can remember, it's a really old one that was pretty cool. So support for that as well. So those are the TPs we're getting this set. And we got the look at the winners as well, so we can see that the winners for this set of TPs is the Pilaf, Shu, and Mai Cunning Trio, which we can see already. It's a counter attack and it's got some other effects in it, which I can't. I think the first auto is when this card is played, you draw one card, and additionally, if it's your opponent's turn, you choose up to one keyword skill on your opponent's battle card, and that skill is negated for the turn. So the counter attack is not the negate the attack, it's just play this card. So it's similar to the other that old Pilaf we've got, but the effects on the counter attack skill, not the auto. So it's quite nice to play it out and draw a card, replace it in your hand, to then use it as a combo and also negate its keyword skill on your opponent's card. That's pretty cool. And then I can't really make up what the other skill does, but yeah, it's got a skill. Then we got Raditz pulling ahead. I can't really look at this to see, but it seems to be for like rolling red, green, metal colors. I think this is support for the original Raditz deck, which is quite interesting to revolve around the actual strategy for that deck. Then we got Bardock Sen Invasion is a Bardock's crew, but then mostly all of them are Bardock's crew. And yeah, so yeah, I don't know what I can't really make out from this, what it does. I could probably try if I squint, but yeah, but that's what it's going to look like. And the Vegito, I can definitely read this because it's a little bit less than text like the other ones. And it's Vegito Volley Attack. It's overarm 6. Opponent, where this card can attack your opponent's battle cards in active mode. And the auto is if your opponent has 2 or more energy, when an opponent's battle card is KO'd by this card's attack, you can switch this card to active mode, so you can use this like a board clear, which is pretty cool. So just be able to drop over on this, swing at your entire opponent's board, and if you anytime you KO on their card, you get to restand this card, which is pretty cool. Force your opponent to out combo, get rid of little swings, force your opponent to out combo this attack on your battle cards, and with none of the battle cards being safe. So that's pretty cool. So those are the TPs we got. Like we'll get actual proper reveals later on, but those are what we've seen on the site. And then the funny thing is, Bandai also did put the wrong TPs up. So this is the ones they originally put up before they quickly popped back onto the site and changed them. So before we got the actual reveals that we just saw, we did have these kind of ones that look to be for the set after. So you can see we've got a pan, which I think is for support for the Reboot Pan deck, because it has an effect revolved around having the Goku Z battle card on. We will also have a Cell Max, Arrogance of I think Arrogance of Despair or something like that. But yeah, we got a red Cell Max card, so they could be Cell Max next set. Then we got 3 blue ones, being a Pycon, which could be support for the Zenkai Pycon deck, and a Janemba, which is definitely not support for Mill Number. Probably not support for Crit Number because it doesn't seem to have crit, which is what most of that is revolving around. So it could be support for the skillless one, which I don't think anybody's ever played. It was never really good. the cards in it were used for different decks. And we got Android 18, which could be for either the new Android 18 deck, maybe. That'd be quite cool. And then we have four green cards, being a one that seems a joint Goku and Chi-Chi, which could be for war martial arts support. And then two, I think we got a Trunks there for Broly Saga, so we could have either support for one of support one of the old Broly Saga decks from set 7 or something like that. And then a Paragus, which looks to be, because it has it looks like I mentioned a Phil card, could be set 1 Broly support. So that'd be quite cool. And then some yellow support, being a Upa, and I can't remember what the name of the dad is. Unison, which is quite cool. That looks to be with the Baba. I think on the Baba it actually specifically says, or one of them says, about a yellow fortune teller Baba leader. So we could get a yellow Baba leader in the next set, in set 22, which is what I'm looking forward to. So this could be support for that deck, or for that the yellow decks in that set. And we have a Goku Junior, which seems to be support for the Goku's lineage, which is cool. And in the last 4 cards, we got a black and multicolor. So we got a Hatchak, which hopefully that'd be nice if its support is like a new black Hatchak deck we get in the next set. Like, I'd be hoping for too much if I did that. But it looks to be just a generic black deck, black card for a Hatchak. And then we've got a SS4 Goku, which I'm not sure what that's going to be supporting as red yellow. Could be from this set. What's it, set 7 or 8? Yellow Goku deck. When the one that was against Baby. Then we got a Veku, which I don't know what's going to be for, because it's a weird combination being blue-yellow, because there's not really any actual blue yellow support for any of the Veku stuff, and it looks because it looks to be the normal one. So that's gonna be interesting to see what this Veku does, because it's odd. That color combination is quite odd for it. And then we have a multicolor cell, another multicolor cell. I don't know if it's going to support the new one, the old one, or what, or the set 9 one, set 9 one that they banned. But that's some support as well. And we also got to look at the winner TPs for that set as well for the next set. So we know that for the set 22 TPs, we have a look at kind of what they look like, what's going to be it. And we know what the winner one's going to be in the Android 18, which we can see with Spirit Boost skill, but clearer list. Hopefully this could be for the set 8 one, that'd be quite nice. Then we've got the Goku Junior one as well. Get the Hatchak, which you kind of make out, it looks like it's got barrier. And yeah, that's one of the TPs. And also the winner on the cards as well. The winner is a lot different to the old ones. Well, the other ones, so they kind of changed it up a bit. And then, yeah, Cell as well, everybody looking around except for Hatchak, not really caring. But the rest is looking back to be like over the shoulder, ooh, kind of thing. So yeah, that's what we got. That's what we saw, and that's all the reveals for today, for this week. For this week for Dragon Ball. Bandai showing us the official reveals, putting up the TPs. We can see I have a little speculation what the TPs do, and then showing us the wrong TPs in the first case, which is quite funny. And then we have the webcam locals results. So we had the week 19 is the Friday one. We had a good 18 people show up to play, which is cool. So we're getting like good double digits, quite high, like just like 20, like just under 20 or more than 20. Which is going, so going strong, and we had a lot of people join up, and these are the results from it. So it was ended up being taken by Giovanni with his yellow Sin, going 4-0 for the end of it. We didn't have enough to, well, we did start off originally have 5 rounds, but then we had people drop, and at the end of it, after the 4th round, we had one undefeated being Giovanni, and put to a vote, and yeah, people wanted to just end it there because it was getting quite late, and so we ended it at 4 rounds because it dropped lower as well. And then we had a load of free ones as well, going from 2nd all the way to 7th, because as I said, we did have some drops. And we have President Eric in 2nd, Red Sin. We did have Ricky in 3rd with his Majin Vegeta. Myself in 4th with Red Jiren. Tom, Brett coming in with his Expert 21. Forgot to change the colour of those as well, I just realised. And then we have Chris on Gamma coming 3-1 as well. Been playing it for the last few weeks. And Dr. Q8 on his SSG Trunks got 3-1 too. Then we had some green ones go 2-2. So being very basic with the result as well as the colour. So we have DJ Deluxe with his Rubik Raditz going 2-2. Dan the Man with his Green Quarter going 2-2, and Johnny with his Star Broly going 2-2. And the good thing about his Star Broly is that Johnny does love the Green Hero chain. I think he put that in this as well. So it's a Star Broly PR with the Hirudegarn, Green Hirudegarn chain as well, if anybody was interested. And then to the last lot, the rest of them, so we got 11th to 18th. We had Blue Hurricane with Yellow Babidi going 1-3. Solis going 1-3 with his AOD. Denzel going 1-3 with his SS4 Bardock. And then Bebo coming in on his first webcam locals with us, going 1-3 with his Broly Surge. I think he's trying to still work out a deck, but still, nice to see Broly Surge. Then we have Luke, Sick Poppy, going 0-4 with his Piccolo, SHP, for some reason I've added that in. And yeah, just bombing it with a Piccolo deck, just showing that he doesn't know how to run Piccolo, obviously. And we had the 3 drops being all the new Android 21 decks, being Mr. Frick, Gentleman Jack, and Swim Gym, going 1-2 drop from it, all with Android 21, which is quite funny. So that's it for the locals. This has been a very long one because I had a bit more of opinion, but it's some other like extra things I want to just go over and have a look at. So yeah, thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.